convention. So we just let's just make a career out of going around and taking events and talking about it afterwards.
I like that.
Yeah. Diamond Mind versus Lush. Is that a question or a comment? Okay. Okay, wait. All right, there we go. The fucking YouTube, you hear yourself like 20 seconds lag. I'm like, man, that was me in the past. I sound ridiculous. Okay. Let's see. Documents. I'm finding the questions. I got some pointed questions. It's a question. Okay. First, learn, DC, to put question marks at the end of questions. I don't know if it's a question. I'm reading what you say, brother. Question. What's the question? What's it? Write the full. I know that, DC, I know that English is not your first language. So I'm just teasing you. But what is your question? Plus, DC, how old are you, brother? I don't, you got to be 18. Okay. Well, let's see. Where is this? Right here. Okay, here it is.
Yeah, brother. I think he's asking what's the difference between Diamond Mind and then studying live with Arash.
Yeah, I get it. I just wanted him to phrase it differently.
I feel that.
I get it. I also just don't want to interpret his questions and give like the answer. Like, what do you mean? Like, difference? Difference? Shit. It's like the difference between learning basketball from Michael Jordan online versus learning from him in person. I don't know what the fucking difference is. Like, yeah. I don't. There's like the only way to tell the answer to that, DC, is to compare it with something you're already familiar with. Have you ever done one-on-one training with somebody or no? If you've never done one-on-one training in person with somebody, then there's no experience in your nervous system to compare it to. It's a whole other experience in person. Yeah, it's different, It's like having a girlfriend long distance via video or meeting her in person. How is that different? Now that's different because Rush, we're not like, but there's a big difference, the sensory experience of being with somebody versus streaming them. Okay. How to conduct interviews. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, I tend to do that. You're an asshole. All right. I'm going to do because I already threw away the questions, but I have some of these questions. Here are the good questions. Good premeditated questions. So are we ready? We're going to get started here.
It's born ready, brother.
Live on YouTube. Everybody on YouTube, welcome. We're about to start. This is Enlightened Masculinity. I'll put the little Zoom link below here. So if you want to join, zoom.us/j/ what was it? 430-159-301.
Spot on.
Phone number. I got it memorized almost. Okay, here we go. You guys are going to want to hear about this. Everybody on Instagram, you're going to want to hear about this event. Okay, let's see. Do I do the podcast like intro? Okay, here we go. We'll make this podcast. Record on this computer. 3, 2, 1. Welcome everyone to Enlightened Masculinity podcast. This is where we're talking about enlightened masculinity, and it's going to be exciting. What we talk about today is a recapitulation. I just love saying the full word, a recap of the Art of Nature event. The Art of Nature event was and is, because there's another, it's being done again. It's a very elite training immersion, a weekend of training with Arash Sapardi Bazaar. It has to do with going into nature, with finding certain frequencies inside of you, with embedding new characters in you, developing a storyline for the archetype that you're embodying, and then implementing these in your future, in your business, relationships, health. And he shows so many techniques. It was quite an event. I have with me my co-host Akash, who also attended the event. There were 5 men who attended the first event: Akash, Pete, Jason, Brian, and myself. And it's set to be about 5 people that will be attending the follow-up event. But I wanted to give the regular people of the world an ability to look into this event. So I have some very pointed questions that I'll point at Akash. And but before that, I'll go ahead and definitely check in with Akash. He's my co-host. He's here today. I didn't really intro myself. I'm the founder of 9 Yoga, hosting many podcasts, authoring many books, and travel the world teaching yoga. I also have a PhD in the normal human universities. And let's see, that's the basic intro. This podcast is sponsored by Ninth Limb Yoga. So shout out Ninth Limb Yoga, hashtag Ninth Limb. We have Akash Katakam. He is a biotech research analyst for Big Pharma, the biggest drug dealers in the world, and he advises them where to put their money. So that's pretty cool. He also, on the side, he's a mystic, he's a modern mystic. He's a pharaoh reincarnated, is Akash Inti. He is a registered yoga teacher, starting his yoga following there in Montclair, New Jersey, called the Rising Suns. And here he is with us, Akash Inti Katakam. What's up, brother?
Hey, brother. Great to be here. I have not much to add in the intro today, but the past 24 hours have been kind of mind-blowing right now. So I want to get into the questions, though, because I know
all right, let's do it.
Start, teasing some of these things out.
A few words. I like it. Okay, so before the event, will you tell me specifically, like, where were you in your mind, your life, your relationships, or however you want to describe that answer to that question? Like, where were you before you did this training?
Yeah, I would say I was kind of like half in, half out, if that makes sense, or like a quarter in, 3/4 out, or 3/4 in, a quarter out. So I was just on the fence of it. I was really interested in this teachings and stuff. I wasn't really entirely sure if it was real or not, even though I'd been studying for quite some time. I saw the results Arash was getting, at least from being online and stuff, but it didn't feel real, if that makes sense, because it felt like there was like, okay, this is a screen. This makes this like another world. Like, this is like not a person. Yeah,
may I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if somebody asked me, where specifically were you, I would say I was hella frustrated with my voice. I was looking to change my voice, to change my delivery. I found myself getting frustrated in social venues, even though I was slowly climbing the social ladder, meeting the employees, the owners of different venues, and so on. But there was definitely, I had a frustration in my discipline, that there was too much laziness in my business, and people rely on me for my discipline, and I wasn't up to par with how I wanted to be myself. And I was getting frustrated in trying to push into it with little to no results. So my voice, it sounded weak to me, but I didn't know how to fucking change it. I was getting frustrated, and therefore I was getting emotional in social venues when I wasn't getting outcomes that I wanted. And I was lacking discipline in my business, and that was frustrating me. These were all things that were happening in my mind before going to the event, and definitely before the event was even announced, because there was some time to come up with money to go to the event. So that's where I was before.
The other thing I want to add, brother, is that I wasn't sure of myself, in the sense that I wasn't sure of the limits that I could push myself to, and the achievements that I could attain. I was very hesitant and just not sure of what I could do, what my limits were.
I see. So you had hesitance, a lot of hesitance. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. So lots of hesitation. And then what was it that in your mind, like, shifted your perspective that this event was going to address that?
I think part of it was studying for Arash. So I've been in mentorship for, I think, over a year now.
Mentorship, this is high ticket online program. So it's a $1,000 a month to be training in mentorship.
So I've learned a lot from mentorship itself, and I had seen how some of the techniques that I had been applying from there were starting to take shape and take hold in my life. I also knew, though, from day one, that if I were to train with someone, I want to train with them in person, because there's no difference between training with someone online and training with someone in person. In my experiences, training with someone in person is just a different experience, as we were kind of talking about at the onset of this. So that was one big thing, knowing that I needed to train with him in person at some point, and this seemed like a great opportunity.
So you had some hesitancy, and then in your mind you were contemplating do I train with him? Do I not? And it was obvious to you where you're like, man, if I want to address this, I got to go in person.
That's exactly it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And all right. Then so you discover that just by like recalling like all the times you had trained with him because you'd already invested a lot of time and money over the last year, and so you were just kind of and you had been into live events too. You had experienced learning from Arash live, and so okay, so you went into your memory banks and you discovered that okay, I need to go live to really address this problem. And why did you decide to fix this problem now?
Well, it comes down to hesitancy. If hesitancy was what I wanted to drop, I would know just super fast or very sharp. So that was one of the things that I had aimed to do. And there was definitely, I was still hesitant in the way I replied, but a lot less hesitant than
I see.
I have been in the past. Does that make sense, sir?
Sort of. It sounds like you're saying that you had hesitancy, and then when the call to action to, hey, Akash, you're invited to this event came, you felt hesitancy happen, and you were like, fuck, this is like, I can start addressing my hesitancy by not being hesitant about attending this event.
That's exactly it.
That's interesting. That's super interesting. I can hear echo from guest. Yeah, it has to do with because of Instagram. I'll also say, guys, I see that you're asking questions on Instagram. It's not the questions you're asking are not totally related to what we're doing. So I am totally happy to answer those immediately after clicking the end record on the Zoom call. Okay, so plus you should come to Zoom with those questions because as I plug in these headphones, I'll be unplugging the power. And so there's a good chance that the phone will die before the end of this. So if you want to make sure that your questions get answered, then go to my bio, click the link, and come to Zoom. There's no guarantee I'll remember the questions, what they are, if the phone died. Okay, so that should handle the echo. Awesome. Cool. So were you, Akash, were you skeptical before attending the Art of Nature event?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Yeah. When you're putting up that much money in general, I can't imagine anyone who wouldn't have some slight level of skepticism. If they didn't, I would kind of think that's kind of strange personally.
Yeah, Brian's really strange. You should watch his interview from yesterday. And we're not going to name the price of the event. You guys, that's whatever. You know, if you're interested, send me a message. But it definitely took some getting money together. So you got to, it sounds like you got some money together and you were skeptical.
Yeah.
But you did it anyway. That's incredible. And you were skeptical that it was going to be worth it. That was the skeptic, or that it was going to actually help your problem.
I think
I know it's hard to remember what it was like before, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was, would it help my problem? Would it be worth it? And
Maybe insight into how to the other guy. Yeah.
like clarifying even for myself, why was I doing it and why was I investing more into this?
I see.
You know?
So you were skeptical if that was even your problem.
I suppose so. Yeah.
That was the last one you just said. Yeah. So yeah, skeptical if it'll address your problem. Skeptical if you'll, when it's addressed, if that's going to be worth it, and then skeptical if that's even the problem that needs to be addressed. Wow. But you did it anyway, man. That's fascinating. So did you have to overcome challenges? What challenges would you say that you had to overcome? Like were there any challenges inside of the training? It was 3 days of training there in San Jose, live in person. Like, did you experience challenges during the Art of Nature event? And maybe it's no. I'm not sure if you did.
I mean, outside of logistics and all that fun stuff, like getting there and whatnot.
What stuff?
Not really. I went there with a pretty open mind and simply wanting to observe what's going on here. Took notes as often as possible, recorded as often as possible.
Yes.
Really was just trying to, every single second that I had with Arash, I was trying to spend learning and coming without ego as much as possible. And I think the yoga helps for sure with that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ego. That's such a fun topic. We'll talk about that on Enlightened Masculinity again. Cool. So tell me then, now after the event, you told me where you were before the event and there was hesitancy in your life. So where are you now after the event, in health, wealth, and relationships?
Yeah, I'd say I'm continuing to work on this. I have definitely cleaned up my acts a lot more. I've been a lot more consistent with putting out content in general. I've been consistent with keeping my schedule, keeping my routines down
Yeah.
a bit better.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things, at least in those regards. I'd say the area that I've seen the biggest improvement has been my relationships with women.
Okay.
And that's where I was really looking to apply all of these things. So that's
Okay.
fucking awesome to me.
Yeah.
Uh, in that sense, example, last night I was out for I think an hour and a half.
That's frustrating. Oh man. Hey, pause for
Went out.
just a quick second.
What's up?
Yeah, do you hear me now?
Are you asking me? Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me now? Yeah, because the
Yeah.
internet kind of got funky. Yeah, you hear me now? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, the last thing I heard was I went out for an hour and a half last night.
Yeah. I went out for an hour and a half last night, and I incorporated some of the archetype discussion that we had with Arash.
Yes.
And channeling that, there was one point where I ended up kiss closing, number closing this girl, but just
Nice.
beforehand, she looked at me and she's like, "You are so hot,"
Yes.
and that's not an experience. I mean, like
That's wonderful.
have had before. So I guess my point being that like I've started to experience things that are to me kind of foreign or
Yeah.
historically have been foreign as a
Yes.
result of applying the teachings from this event. And I
Right.
continue to learn more and more with Arash through
Yes.
texting and such. So.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, new experiences outside your matrix, man. And yeah, I've been having just tons of those left and right. I haven't really been interviewing myself here right now. I mean, I know I answered the first question. I won't answer all the questions right now. I'll do like maybe a special video just for myself. Keep it tight on Akash. And cool. So you've been seeing you've had like that. You've had some new experiences in your relationships that were outside of your experience. They were unfamiliar, and you're pleased with those. And you definitely seen some consistency and some follow through in your business, especially your extra business activities. Your side businesses. And so, what specifically changed that for you? Was there either in the event? I mean, without giving away teachings or whatever, but like, what changed those things for you? When were there shifts, and what would you say internally specifically changed for you?
Yeah, there was a couple moments that I really distinctly remember from the event itself. One was simply showing up. So I remember getting there just as you guys were about to leave and head out to one of the clubs. And that was a moment in of itself of like arriving and being like, oh shit, this is real. Um, and proving to myself that I can manifest uh, that the sum of money that I needed to attend this type of events
Yeah, that's quite
was that was kind of a big accomplishment to myself, and dedicating as well the resources to my education. I mean, I've kind of grown up with I need to go get an MBA after undergrad and keep going getting more school and shit. But I didn't want to
Yeah,
do that. I realized that I
that's
didn't
funny.
want to do that, and I was
Yeah,
like, well, money on education. This is education to me. So that's why this is how I view it. Um, so that was one moment for sure. Was arriving. I think the second was it was sometime like at, the second day or so, mid afternoon, and it was in between one of our lectures, and it was the five of us were in the room, apartment, whatever you call it, the Airbnb itself.
uh-huh.
And I was just picking up the flavors of each a different person, and uh, their beingness. So the other thing that I really took away from was that seeing four other guys who were willing to spend that much on themselves and transform themselves, like it's a really beautiful thing to witness
Yes.
and experience.
Yeah. I mean, it's a brotherhood for sure.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. I mean, when you go through, like, I've been through things in my life that, different wrestling trainings, different drug experiences, different other like intense, semi-intense, not what I would consider as intense as like going in arms and going overseas to a war or something, that kind of brotherhood. And it's similar. And, to manifest a large sum of money, to, um, you go through some of the experiences that I've been through, you really feel a sense of camaraderie with the other person or people. And yeah, it's super cool. So, yeah, if I was going to answer something like that, like, what specifically changed for me, I would say that, let's see, what specifically changed for me. Definitely coming up with the money, lots of shifts happened, which is amazing. Like I was telling Brian, like half of the benefit of the event was coming up with the money for the event. I was uploading so much information in those 3 weeks preparing for the event. I felt myself opening up, like different awarenesses came available to me as like all of my system became engaged in this activity of I got to go to this event. And what created the changes in me. I'll do it in my own episode where I talk about these things.
The other thing I want to add is when I made the commitment internally to myself that I was like, okay, I'm going to this event, even though I didn't have the money at the time and I hadn't like put together all of the paperwork and such, I started seeing the changes happen so quickly.
Yeah.
So it was the second that I said yes to it.
Yes, this is true.
I was going to make it happen. Everything, the learning, because a lot of the learning actually happened in the weeks prior, the mentorship lessons prior was kind of like a download of these things, and I was starting to pick them up a lot quicker than I had before, which was was really cool and kind of surprising too. So.
I just spoke with Arash on the phone yesterday about this because we're doing a live Q&A, guys. I don't know if this will be posted in time for that, but tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, we're doing a live Q&A with all of the Tabiat attendees. There's 5 of us: Brian, Jason, myself, Akash, and Pete. And Arash will do a Q&A with us where we'll ask our questions from the event because, of course, we have questions. I mean, it was 3 days of training. We'll have an hour to ask questions on the technologies that we learned. We learned many different mental technologies there. And everybody is invited to, I mean, you're not going to be able to ask questions. You can watch and you'll get a definite feel. You'll probably glean some really, really valuable gold nuggets from it. And I think that it was the same story for me, Akash. Like, so much I opened. So I talked with Rosh last night about this, and he was like, in his own way of saying it, I forget how he said it, but it was like when you go so hard for this sort of thing, when you really start putting in your effort to manifest, to become resourceful, to make it to the event, your senses pick up. You just start noticing more, and this is what happened for me exactly. You start noticing the teachings, you start paying attention more when he lectures, and you start looking for the value because you're coming up with the value on your side, and you start finding the value outside of you. And so super cool. Okay, cool. So kind of wrapping it up, what would you say, Akash, to someone else who is considering enrolling in the program?
I would say, I mean, do it without questions asked, but really figure out what's your reason for doing it. So come in with, this is what I'm trying to achieve. This is what I'm searching for. This is where I want to improve within my life. And come in with an open mind and make it happen. That's all. That's really all that you need to do. Arash will teach you everything you need to know. There's no question about his ability to produce on his end, but it's what are you showing up with? I mean, obviously, if you're able to put the money together, that says a lot about you.
Yes.
But what are you coming in with? Even still, you could have the money, but you could still be have a lot of baggage or shit in your head not to come to this event and really take everything out of it. So let everything go and really be willing to accept a new style of teaching and a new way of life.
Yeah, empty your cup and maybe have some outcomes in mind for sure. And cool. So, okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add? And then I see there's a ton of comments on Instagram and I would say that somebody commented on Zoom. Tom commented on Zoom. The link, send me a message, Tom, and I'll get you the link for the Q&A tonight. It's by invitation and you're invited, but by asking me. So you don't share the link out. And yeah, is there anything else that you would want to add, Akash?
Only things I'd say are working with Arash in person and getting the experiences of all of the time that he's spent on this subject particularly it's incredible. There is no study book art that I've seen in my life practiced the way that Arash has dedicated his life to, and he started uncovering really some of the basics to this seduction, but on a level that is unseen. So, like, I can't express to anyone how much it has meant to me and how much it will continue to mean to me, because this has been, I remember when I was younger that I wanted to dedicate my life to studying this art. And it's incredible to have a teacher who's dedicated his life to this and continues to refine and uncover the areas. So if you really are a lover, or if you really are someone who is dedicated to seduction, influence, persuasion, you must come to this event. There's no questions asked about it. So
Beautiful. That would be a really beautiful clip to take a screenshot and send to him for Instagram. That'd be good. Yeah, definitely, everybody. So if you're interested in the Art of Nature event and you catch this recording, send me a message at Chris DeVilbiss on Facebook or Yoga Bliss Chris on Instagram. I'm gonna click the recording now, and then we'll answer some of the Q&A questions. My computer's about to die, so I'll take a quick pause and go grab the charger. And thank you all for tuning into this recapitulation of the Art of Nature event. Find all of the links below for how to contact us, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, cool. So the recording's over. Guys, if you're on Instagram, we'll start answering your questions. I'm just going to go grab my laptop charger. Oh, I lost my co-host. Where did he go? So hang on, everybody. We'll pick it up again in a minute. Welcome, everyone. About to answer these questions now. Here in Enlightened Masculinity. Chavez Ebi. We just did a recapitulation of a training event that we attended called The Art of Nature. Nature of man and beauty. Mind-blowing. And here we go. Now we'll answer your question. Okay. Nies Mores, epic in field last night. That's right. Everything changed for me. Everybody reacts differently to me. After training with the Rosh 2 weekends ago.
that's the other thing. It feels like such a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because the changes have been taking place, and I genuinely find a hard time I struggle with remembering what the past life is like, as well as recognizing the communication with others. There's certain certain people have been reaching out to me I haven't spoken to in a while, and they're starting to ask me questions, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" Blah, blah. There's certain questions that are like, I can't accept your question.
Yeah.
Brother. Like, and they don't understand it, but I don't know how to explain it to them other than that. So it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Mm, let's see here. Yes, Mores. It's on a whole other. Oh, that's still talking about the diamond mine question. Like mindy. Can you go more into detail why women can't be loyal? Women can be loyal. They just are less. That's like saying women can play basketball. They're not going to be as good as guys. Why? I mean, it's just evolutionary biology, so you just read it in your books. Um, so this isn't recorded right now. This would be good to record, but I don't. I don't feel like recording it. Women always switch sides. They're all born of the women who switch sides. Because if a woman didn't switch sides when the conquering army won, then she was raped and enslaved and all her children were killed. And you're not born of the women who stayed loyal. You're born of the women who switch sides. So do that for a few hundred generations and you'll have that women are less loyal than men because you're born of the women who chose to not be loyal. They chose survival over loyalty. Men shouldn't do that, except for like maybe rare exceptions. But for the most part, because if you switch sides as a man, then you're not going to reproduce either because you'll get enslaved and made into a eunuch. So we're not born of men who switch sides. We're born of the men who conquered, and sometimes conquering is winning as an underdog. So not switching sides. We're born of the men who didn't switch sides. We're born of the men who conquered. We're born of the women who did switch sides. And so you follow that for a few hundred generations, you'll get men are more loyal than women. Does that make sense? Yeah, but it's not being recorded. Yeah, I'll just use that episode as the recording. Akash, what's going on?
I think you hit it spot on.
Yeah, of course. Right on the nerve. DC, I like how you are very expressive, almost like a Rosh. I want to have that. Yeah, that's live training. That's what happens with live training. For sure. For sure. Yesmo Mores was saying that same thing to me. Like mind, I can hear it. Okay, yeah, we addressed that echo. Is there anything else, guys? DC, Akash looks more passive than you. Man, you need to learn communication, DC. You need to learn communication. Is that personality or what? I don't seem to understand this aliveness in a person. My understanding is wrong. Yeah, we're two different people. And I'm older than Akash, and I've been on the path of communication development and self-development longer than Akash. So yeah, I'm different, Whatever.
Yeah, I don't have any comment.
Yeah, I mean, Akash.
One of the things I say is that you see whatever you want to see within each of us. So what you're saying says nothing about me and everything about you. It matters not to me.
Well, that's kind of aggressive, but yeah, I said that actually to a girl the other day because I perturbed her. She was actually in the silent flute. I'd been a paying member for months, but she said something. I said something. She said something. She was flirting, so I said something that was like, "Do as teacher tells you." Was basically what I said. But I only did that after she had flirted with me many times. But she still took like tremendous offense to it. Like all of her flirtations, I was like, "That's an indication of interest. That's an indication." I'm noting in my head, okay, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, I'm gonna test. What I didn't think she was gonna get like so upset because I wouldn't have done it. I don't try to upset people. So I said like, do as teacher tells you or something like that. Something like with the energy of that. Man, she just like flipped, like long message. I mean, this is a woman that half a dozen times in the last few months has literally typed out and said, "I'm in silent flute for life. I love silent flute. I'm in silent flute for life." There's an example of loyalty. There's an example. Like if Arash said something that offended me or Vince said something that offended me, I'm not going to unsubscribe on that. I'm going to bring it to their attention that I was offended. It's going to probably turn out that it's just some absurdity within me. And, and then we move forward. But, it's just flip. Anyway, why do I bring that up? Is because what did it have to do with? It had to do with something said here.
Well, no, I think the whole point of taking offense to something. If you're studying,
yeah. So she sent a bunch of messages, and I sent like another pointed message, and then she replied, and after that second one, she really started getting nasty and like calling me names and just nonsense. And she called all of the people in Silent Flute puppets. That's really, I don't care that she calls me names. When she called my Silent Flute people puppets, that's when I'm going after her. There's an unread message from her, and she's like threatened to bring her husband in on it. And I'm just like, your man is a pussy. He's got tiny little balls, pussy whipped, and you're a weak woman. And he's even weaker than you if he allows you to keep your stupid sheep-like beliefs. Something like that. Anyway, so she says a whole bunch of things, and I was like, all of these things that you're saying, you're not saying them about, you're only saying them about yourself and nobody else. Like, you're just talking about yourself right now. And it was a really good neutralizing statement at the time, at the moment. I don't know that that's like a go-to, but at that moment, because it's true. Like, I was mind fucking this girl last night, and so she's in the car with me. I know it's a crazy thing, like the idea.
I love that statement
of mind fuck. Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know what that was. Now what is going on with this thing? Okay, we'll do one more question. So I was telling her, I'm in her head, she's in my head. I mean, there's a language pattern here that I was using with her that really just like crossed her eyes a little bit. And, at some point she was like, "You're funny." I'm like, "I'm not funny. You're funny." How do I know? Because I'm just a picture in your head. And you're laughing at the picture in your head of me, which is really just you laughing at yourself. It's something like that. I'm not saying it exactly the same way. Anyway.
Using some yogic communication there. I love it.
Well, I mean, when somebody comes at you and is attacking you, then, I mean, they're attacking the picture in their head of you. So they're really just talking about themselves.
Yeah.
DC, you are all on questions, and I am getting on mine in 2 days because of credit card problems. Is there anything you can teach me that I can use with that? With what? Can you show me your experience when you first bought it? I don't know what you mean. Help you with what exactly? Like your credit card issue? Like, you just got to get it right. And can you show me your experience when you first bought it? I mean, it's a long time ago. It was 2.5 years ago when I started Diamond Mind. I've been on every month, except I think I missed like a couple months because I didn't have money, but I got back on. And I don't know, you might be saying, because I know you're in like Greece or somewhere, you might be trying to say, can you share your experience with me? Well, yeah, I remember at the time I was going through identity crisis. Like, I was posting on social media and things about, my path, my mentality, and things like that. And I was getting hate and a lot of feedback, pushback from my quote social media circle. And so I remember I was going through that tumultuous time. That was a difficult time. And his Diamond Mind teachings was all about how to cut through conversation. Diamond Mind, like a diamond cut. And so immediately in the first month, I still remember lecture number 4 because that one has really done well for me. It was immediately I was able to cut apart other people's attacks. When they attacked me, I could easily or more easily. It just keeps getting better and better. I'm still getting better and better at it. Of really cutting apart somebody's attack so that it's weak. Especially in most cases when it is weak and you get too wrapped up in the nonsense of it, like the emotions and the tones and things. So, I mean, that's my experience initially of Diamond. Plus, there was a lot of law of attraction teachings that really helped me in the beginning. Yeah, you like hearing it. Of course you like hearing it, man. Join Diamond Line. Get it right. Okay. That's it for me. Akash, you got any closing words for everybody?
Closing words are, I'd say, if this is something that you want to do it. If in your heart of hearts you're feeling that there's something calling you to this event, there's something calling you to even wanting to continue to hear the ideas that we continue to share, that's a trigger from yourself that you need to do this event. So that's all I have for you there. In regards to content, I mean, we are up on iTunes now, so like, subscribe, comments, that would be awesome. I have a Sunset Club group going on later tonight, so if you are in the New York, New Jersey area, reach out to me via DM, and I will let you know what we are up to tonight. That's all I've got, Yogi Chris. I turn it back over to you.
Superman, yeah, everybody here should be on Enlightened Masculinity, which is the free Facebook group that we give to a little bit of a value that's really going to change your mind in a positive way. We got a running joke here, inside joke about that. So yeah, Enlightened Masculinity. You catch us on iTunes, leave us a review, take a screenshot of your review, send it to us, send it to me. I got a special gift for you, special video about state control, not mind control. And yeah, that's it for now. So we'll see you next weekend here on Enlightened Masculinity. Look for maybe possibly a new time on that, but we'll talk about it and get it right. So thanks, Akash, for showing up, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.